Hey everybody, how are you? Botaji to the bay. Uh, Hope you're well. And it is evening time here in the Algarve. It's been pretty sort of crap weather for the last couple of days, raining, and uh, not cold, but just raining. But after today, goes back to its normal warmth, which we can't wait for. But um, as you saw in the last video, we collected our new dog, Theo. He is here with us now, and he is fitting in lovely. And actually, Linus and him are getting on great, which is really good. And they seem to be loving each other's company. For me, Fabio is away at the moment, so he's been away for the last 2 weeks, and he's another week to go. So it's a bit. I miss him, but this is part of his job. He travels a lot with his work, so I have to sort of, we're together, 18 years. So he's always traveled. So it's always been something I've had to sort of deal with. So it's just fine. And my busy period is starting. So I've a lot of weddings this summer, thankfully, and wedding guests, etc. here in the Algarve. So if you're looking for makeup in the Algarve you need a really good makeup artist, I'm your man. But things are okay here. My friends were over. I had a lot of friends over consecutively. My cousins actually were here first, and then my two of our best friends, Paul and Serge, who you've seen here on my page, have been over also. So it was great to have them here. Um, so something's been on my mind. I suppose I just want to give my opinion on on the whole. So there's been a scandal in England, which has been about a TV presenter called Philip Schofield, who is like anyone who's not from outside of Ireland, from outside of England. He would be like I suppose Ryan Seacrest, you know, that American guy. He's that same sort of persona and popularity. So he's very, very popular, and he hosts a show called This Morning on ITV or UTV, depending where you are in Ireland and England. And he's been there for years. He's very, very popular. And he also did a show, kid show, which I loved. I've known him all my life, like as in I've seen him all my life, and he used to do a lot of kid shows and so on. But he came out recently. Now the dog's going to start barking. Anyway, it's not too loud. So he came out recently, about a year ago, I think, a year or two ago, and he had been married, and he was, as far as we knew, he was happily married, and then he came out on the show. Now, it was a rumor around for a long time. I have a lot of friends in England in entertainment circles, and they've known for a long while that he was gay, and a lot of people did know that he was gay, and apparently his wife knew that he was gay. So he came out to his family, and then he came out live on air, and it's on YouTube if you want to have a look at it. So it was very, very sort of nice and everything. But apparently behind the scenes, he came out because he was going to be outed by one of the tabloid press papers, The Sun, or one of those. He was going to be outed, so he decided he'd get on top of it and come out himself. So recently, there has been a bit of some scandals with this TV show. Holly Willoughby, who is his co-presenter, and him skipped the queue for the to see the remains of to pay their respects to the Queen, and that caused uproar in England. And there's been a few glitches, and recently then there's been rumours of a rift between the two of them. And then we also found out that Philip Schofield's brother, it turns out to be pretty prolific paedophile, and he has been jailed, I think, for 12 years for paedophilia. And good riddance, bye bye, you dirty bastard. But so then recently things have started sort of coming out and about Philip Schofield, and rumours about, is he going to leave the show, and people wondering why. And then he did leave the show, and then we found out why. And the reason was that he had an affair with a young man, with a man, I should say a man of 20 years old. He had apparently five dalliances, if you like, with this man, and he did it while he was still with his wife, and which is shitty of him if she didn't know that he was gay and that he was, messing around behind her back or having an affair with a guy behind her back. That's pretty shit. But he had an affair with this man, and as far as we know, that's all that's happened now. So the press in England have gone absolutely mental over it. It has been a witch hunt for this poor man. And I say poor man because it is unbelievable how many people have come out and how many people have, turned against him and have, basically dug the needle into him and made him just an absolute pariah in England, and it's been non-stop. And if you go on YouTube, there's loads and loads of YouTubers now, giving their oar, telling people what they feel and so on. So I just decided, well, I just want to, as a gay man and an older gay man, I'm older now, I'm 51, but as a gay man, I wanted to just give a gay perspective to it, because you've got all these people coming on. Obviously, there's a lot of people who clearly don't like the man, who have a problem with him, and maybe because of his success, or maybe he was a bit of an asshole behind the scenes. I don't know. God only knows what happened behind the scenes of a TV program or a personality. I mean, what you see in front of a camera is not what the person is in real life. People have to remember that, when you are a presenter, I've worked with a lot of presenters over my career, I was on TV a lot in Ireland also, and so you're always smiling and happy and everything's great. I mean, that's made up. I mean, you're not going to go on and be your real self and go on and pretend to be a miserable bastard or whatever. You're on TV, so you're your best self, if you like. So TV presenters are like that, and they obviously have lives behind their persona of being a TV presenter. But a lot of people have come out now, other presenters who clearly have some sort of grudge against him or don't like him, and have had problems with him in the past, maybe on this show. For instance, there's a presenter called Eamon Holmes who's on a right-wing leaning YouTube channel called Great Britain News or something like that, and he clearly has a really big problem with Philip Schofield. And then if you look back, you can see why, because Philip Schofield apparently didn't like his wife, and there's a sort of a feud between them. So now he's come out against Philip Schofield and is just being horrific to him, and really, saying awful things. You can have a look online and see what I'm talking about here. But there's loads and loads of this going on at the moment, and it has been relentless. And I've just thought to myself, what exactly has the guy done wrong? So if the guy had been a paedophile, if he was attacking young men, if he was doing basically what his brother was doing, the dogs are playing here, basically what his brother was doing, if he was doing all of that, throw the book at him. He should be absolutely, put in jail for throwing away the key. I mean, because that is disgusting. That is, there is nothing forgives, having sex with an underage person. It just doesn't. But he didn't do that. He had sex with a 20-year-old. Now, the thing about it is they're saying that he knew the 20-year-old and he got him a job as a runner on the TV programs, or this guy got a job as a runner as a teenager. So he was, I think, 18 when he got the job, but Philip Schofield knew him from 15. And he talked to him, and he was friendly with him. And then when he came on the show, when he was working, when he turned of age, something happened, and he says it himself. You can watch the interview. It's a BBC interview, and he says it himself. He basically had this an affair with him, and he was very, very sorry about it, and he was absolutely remorseful about it, and he he clearly still has a lot of feelings for this young man. He wants to protect him, and this young man apparently doesn't want to be in the press and doesn't want anything bad to happen because they were friends, and apparently they're still friends. So, hi, sorry about that. So the dog is quieting down, although there's people playing behind me, kids playing behind me. So anyway, I'll go on. Hopefully the microphone will work and go get over it. But so what was I saying? So yes, so you've got all these on this TV channel, or on YouTube channel. Good Morning Brit. Good Morning. What is it? Great Britain News or something like that. And they're all ex-employees from ITV who have a grudge, and you're there like I'm just listening to them, and they're absolutely ripping this man to shreds. Every single day there's a news articles in on Sky News, on BBC, on UTV, on ITV, in all of the papers non-stop. And and why? What has this man actually done? And as I said, if more comes out about him and it's all, and he's been, grooming children and he's a paedophile, fair enough, do whatever you have to do because so where was I? So all that this guy has done is he had an affair with a man, and they happened apparently 5 times, and he did an interview with BBC, which is also online. I'm sure you can watch it. And his life is absolutely being turned upside down. He has no job anymore. He has all of his sponsorships are gone. Everything's gone. The mere hint of basically pedophilia, that's what people are saying. That's the hint. That's what they're talking about. So, for instance, in the newspapers, you would have them saying things like, he was a very young man, or this young man, or the youngster. They kept on calling him the youngster, and so on. And you're like, it makes him sound like he is a young child. And he's not. He was a 20-year-old man when they started an affair. And the reason that it sort of gets me is when I was 20, I never, ever, ever was into men who were younger than me, ever. I'm still not really. I have. So hopefully we won't be interrupted by the dogs or too loud barking of our neighbours' dogs. But where was I? So, so this man's career has now been ruined because of what? Because he had an affair. He had an affair with a man, a 20-year-old man. He is of age. 16 is the age of consent in England and in Ireland, and I think the rest of Europe, or 17. And this man was 4 years or 3 years over that age of consent. And when I was a young man in my 18, when I knew I was gay, which was I knew I was gay when I was a fetus. I knew I was gay all the time. But when I started having sex, or when I started being into guys, I was always into older men, always. I've never really been into younger guys. Even now, even as an older man myself, I like my own age, or maybe slightly younger. But really, I've never been into anybody younger than that. This is starting to move. Sorry. And I've never really been into that, and that's just my preference. Whereas I have other friends, for instance, who I know are into younger men, but they are men of age. They are of age, and they want experiences with older men. My first boyfriend, for instance, the first person who I had an affair with, he was 51 years old, and I was 20. So, there's a big age gap there, but he was into younger guys and I was into older guys. And that was totally fine. And that is acceptable. And as far as I'm concerned, that's acceptable because they're both men. They both know what they're doing and they both have consented to this. And basically that's what happened here. In my opinion, that's what's happened here. And this guy has been now dragged over the coals and he's lost everything because of this, because basically because of homophobia. Because if this was a woman, for instance, with a younger man, hello, if this was a woman, for instance, with a younger man, for instance, Cheryl Cole and Liam Payne. I mean, Cheryl Cole knew Liam Payne when he was I think he was 15 or whatever. when he was on the X Factor, and then when he of course turned age, she started having an affair with him, and they now have kids, I believe, together, and nobody really batted an eyelid. Yes, there was a little bit of, oh, what's she doing, but nobody really batted an eyelid. Likewise, Celine Dion and her manager husband, I mean, she was 12 or something when she first met him, and there's loads of it, loads and loads of these things that have happened, and nothing, no eyebrows have been raised. But this time, obviously, because people had it out for him, they have basically ruined his whole entire career, and it just really pissed me off. I was like, okay, if you're not liked, I work in TV. I have worked in TV. In Ireland, I've worked in many, many TV shows doing as a guest celebrity makeup artist. And I've worked with lots and lots of TV presenters and so on. And the majority of them are incredibly lovely people and who are friends of mine now. But there are one or two who are absolutely not nice people and have been total fucking dickheads. And you just you accept it. That's TV. That's the world you're in. It's a very fickle world. Now, if he is not a likable person, fine, he's not a likable person. But that doesn't mean you should. That doesn't mean you should go out and ruin his career. Sorry, dogs. Like, there have been people, so that basically doesn't mean you should go and ruin a person's career because you dislike them. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people who like him and think he's a nice person. And, I don't know what the press were expecting. Was this going to be a big, huge thing? Was more revelations going to come out with it, out of it? But apparently nothing has as yet. And it was a good few weeks ago that this happened, and nothing more has come out. Like, there's people online here. I'm very disappointed in a couple of YouTubers who I follow, who basically they're cults. They have a cult YouTube channels. They talk about cults and stuff like this, and one particular one, who I won't mention, has a guy on who basically more or less called Philip Schofield the next Jimmy Savile. What? For what? For having an affair with a man of age. And unless, of course, they know something we don't, maybe loads more crap is going to come out about him. But so far, weeks have gone by and nothing else has come out about him. And then now they're after the girl who sat beside him for 15 years, called Holly Willoughby. And they're saying, oh, she must have known, she did this, that, and the other. And the statement, she read a statement, which once again you can see here online. When she came back to the show, she's asking, are we all right? And I'm very disappointed and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what the fuck have you to be disappointed about? Your co-worker had an affair. Yeah, that's pretty shit. If he did it behind his wife's back, that's really shit. But that's really all he did. He didn't kill anybody. He wasn't a paedophile. He didn't have an affair with anybody underage. He had an affair with a man who worked on his show. And that's what she's now coming on to apologize for, because she has to. And apparently there's going to be, internal, probes now. And it was talked about in Parliament in England. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, it is ridiculous. Like, if it had been a woman, if an older man had an affair with a woman of 20, I think he's started the affair when he was 58 or something like that. But if a younger woman had started an affair with an older man, nobody would have fucking blinked an eyelid. But the fact that it's a gay man and there's just still innate homophobia out there, he gets dragged over the coals and his whole entire life and career is ruined because of this thing that he has done, this legal thing that he has done. So basically that's what I had to rant about. I'd love your opinion on it. Those of you know what I'm talking about. I'll put pictures up as I'm going along of the presenters and so on. But I'd love to know your opinion on it. Like, do you think that this is something that was blown out of proportion? Do you believe that he groomed the young man, for instance? A lot of the people are saying he groomed him because he knew him when he was young and he had an affair with him when he turned of legal age. so like people's opinion of that is one way. My opinion is I don't agree with that. I really don't. I think a groomer is somebody grooms somebody and then has an affair with them and is a paedophile and has underage sex with them. Is that not a groomer? Is that not somebody who's a paedophile? Is that not what paedophiles do? um I don't know. It just really sort of pissed me off, the thought that, so many people have an opinion or have turned against this man and ruined his career, all because he had a consensual affair with a man. Yes, the man was younger, but he was not a kid. He was not a youngster. He was a young man, and that's what has happened. And just from my experience and being an older man now, being a 51-year-old, and you know, knowing the gay scene like I do, there's so many young men who are into older men like me, and I was one of those younger men who was into older men. And I had lots of affairs with older guys. Affairs. I had lots of boyfriends, or I had lots of one night stands with older guys, and that's what I was always into, and I still am, pretty much. So I'd love to know your opinion. And I'm sorry I'm ranting about this. Maybe it's the gin, but I'm sorry I'm ranting about this. But it is something that was on my mind, and I just love to know your opinion. Such as my opinion, such as it is. I mean, who the fuck am I? But it is just something that has been on my mind. Anyway, that's that. Sláinte. Uh, I shall now go and walk the dogs and walk off. Oop! I shall now go and walk the dogs, and that's starting to fall. I shall now go and walk the dogs and have some food. And anyway, until next time, take care. Ciao.